everybody. Ken here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so some things have been going on here. No, this is a safe house, and I have guards here. Just so nobody gets confused, these guards are half here to keep me in and half here to, protect me from things. Not that they really can protect me from some of the stuff that's been coming in. On the good part, these are some fairly decent agents, and quite frankly, they did give me some backup for some of the things that I just saw. We had an event here. I will go into it. I will go into it and try and describe it, but we lost one of the agents. This was not a normal thing. This was not a thing that I would expect anybody to believe if we hadn't had proof at the end. Yeah, so, okay, I'm gonna do this SCP here. This has nothing to do with anything, except for the fact that it's an effect that I've seen in real life, actually almost as intensely as what this particular one describes. I'll read off the description first, then I will hit the discussion points on it. I'm gonna try and keep this one a little bit short. I'm not doing well right now. I mean, you can adapt your mind to things, you can become hardened, but there are things that when you see them, they're going to affect you. There are tricks for dealing with this. I've been trying to apply them, but the big point with that is that you have to work the system in order to make the system work, and it's hard to remember to do that all the time when things are really, really going on around you in a negative fashion. So I'm going to start into the SCP stuff here. I'll go over all of this. I've got some other stuff coming as well, actually spurred on by some of those videos that were put up. I think you guys are ready to start listening to this. Again, like 5 of you are probably ready for this. The rest of you, hey, give it a shot. Give all of this a shot. Start from the beginning, listen through everything, skip those videos from the things that I didn't put up, listen to the stuff that Kate did. She's actually going to do another video up for me. I like the fact that she actually, has video, and she was kind of making fun of me for not having things like that, so I'm going to get some stuff from her and see if I can learn how to do that. This is the problem with being old, is you've got to learn new stuff. I know 55 isn't old anymore, but especially for me. I'll go into all of that later. Right now, though, SCP-503, the luckiest man in the world. SCP-503 is a Caucasian male, 63 years of age. The subject is bald, formerly had black hair, and has brown eyes. The subject's lower jaw is a prosthesis as a result of Incident 503A. I'm not going to read that off, but he tried to blow his head off, managed to absorb all the force on his jaw, and survived. There is a large scar on the subject's chest as a result of test log 5035. One of the researchers shot him in the chest to see if he'd survived. He did. SCP-503 demonstrates a remarkable proclivity toward short-term good fortune and long-term misfortune. This was first apparent at age 11 when the subject was involved in an automobile accident with his family. While the subject survived, his parents, as well as 2 siblings, died. In addition, the subject was trapped within the car for several days before rescue. The subject has had 3 marriages, the first ending in divorce, the second ending when the subject's wife was killed in an automobile accident, the third ending when the subject's wife committed suicide. During the time, the subject has had 10 children, none of which currently live. As far as the subject is aware, he has no living family. The subject has survived falling from a 34-story window, a plane crash in the North Atlantic, 2 additional automobile accidents, and the destruction of the World Trade Center on 9/11/01. He has survived suicide attempts via hanging, overdose, self-immolation, and firearm. Although the subject has won the lottery on 2 separate occasions, by the time the Foundation took custody of him, medical bills had left him in heavy debt. They keep referring to the subject as it in this particular SCP. I'm changing it to him. It's dehumanizing to refer to people as it. During this time, I really think we need to focus a little more on how human and essential every life is. Anyway, SCP-503 is currently being studied by Dr. Name Redacted to determine if the subject's properties can be reverse engineered to increase the survival chances of field agents. Then it goes into Incident Report 503A, which relates the story of the subject losing his jaw, and 503B, in which the subject was shot in the chest, as well as several other tests where he wins a lot of games, manages to not die from 60 consecutive tests with 17 different firearms, which all malfunction, preventing a bullet from going into his head, and then a Russian roulette with one empty chamber aimed at the subject's heart, actually the subject's chest, severe trauma to the chest, bullet passed through the center of the heart, piercing no chambers, rib broken, subject survives. Okay, this is an interesting story. The very interesting thing about it, until you get to the last portion of it with the testing to potential destruction, we really don't do that. Nobody does that. When you have something this anomalous, people actually want to keep the person alive to study it, not just see at what point they're going to be described. After all, we're not the Russians. Yeah, that sounds really mean, but testing things to destruction is the Russian engineering testing device that they use. They will go over things with people and machines and just use them until whatever they're testing breaks it. Then they try and work out how to strengthen it for the next test and so on. Which leads to some very, very durable machinery and even durable individuals who have had very good training, but it runs through a lot of bodies first. I'm not being anti-Russian. It's a good enough system. It's just hard on the personnel. Okay, so the luckiest man alive. Well, he could really argue that this guy was not particularly lucky at all, or had anomalous luck. Perhaps even had horrible luck in that they couldn't manage to get themselves killed. We have seen human subjects with this identical, let's call it an ability, property, or trait. This is not even new. This is not at all unheard of. A certain percentage of people have some form of this going on. You have probably met people who have this kind of thing happening in their own life constantly. To the best of our understanding, this is actually brought about by the subconscious mind of the person involved. It's a very powerful ability, it has very real-world effects, and of course, devastating properties on the individual. These people tend to have miserable existences with incredible amounts of both good and bad-seeming luck that are well outside of what most of us have to deal with. What's actually going on here is that most of us don't deal with luck that much at all. We learn to get around situations where we're not going to be successful. We learn, for instance, not to gamble that much because we are not lucky individuals who are going to get the big payout all the time. There are, however, people who will gamble because of the addictive rush of the brain chemistry altering, serotonin being released when they get small wins or even large wins, causing them to play the odds, and of course, in the end, gamblers lose. All gamblers tend to lose, except for a particular few. Well, when you're looking at people like this, who have this strange but powerful luck, you normally have people who actually have a learning disability. It's a very powerful one, and it appears to be on a subconscious level. They don't learn how to deal with the fact that things are probably going to go wrong for them at certain points in their life. They don't learn to protect the people around them the same way that most of us do. They don't learn to protect themselves. These are the people who, even though they fall down the stairs and have broken 6 ribs and a leg, don't learn to grab the handrail when they're walking down the stairs. Or they'll do it every single day for 10 years, and then we'll forget one day, fall down and break bones. At the same point, these are people who will face situations, say, gambling, and they will win the lottery twice, but all their winnings will be stolen, or they'll be shot in the parking lot of a strip club, or they'll be robbed of hundreds of thousands of dollars that they have in loose bills in a box in the trunk of their car in the parking lot of a strip club. This is actually a real story, so you get the idea, where you basically, if you see people and they have won multiple lotteries, their lives are going to be crap because they're this kind of person. It is something, and we have looked into it, could you increase the functional luck of an individual? And we know how to do that. I could actually walk you through the steps of doing that now. I'm not going to do it in this one. I'm going to keep this pretty short today, but yeah, no, we can do that. What we have worked out over long periods of time is that luck itself is actually a property of making the correct choices at the correct time. There is a small psychic influence in perceived outer luck. People who are lucky tend to make the correct choice at the correct time about 9% more often than people do who are considered neutral in luck. And the people who are considered unlucky make the incorrect choice about 9% of the time. Nobody is perfect at this, including some of the best psychics, though they can get much better results purposefully having learned to use such things. But just raw luck tends to simply be a reflection of the innate psychic ability of the individual and reflected by their ability to learn from what's happened in the past as well as current mindset. The trick here is that if you've been having horrible luck your entire life, or having anomalous luck where you have great successes and great failures, in a way that, let's face it, failures harm you more than success helps you in the long run. Losing $2 million harms you more than having previously won $1 million. Losing $1 million will harm you more than having won $1 million. Because remember, you have things like taxes, the fact that you've already spent part of that money. It's a property of things where if you were not harmed by negatives as much as you were helped by positives, you would always end up at a net benefit over the course of your life, which, quite frankly, most people actually do, because we get more wins than we have losses. It's that losses tend to affect us more than the wins do. And I'm gonna do up a few things to help people. You know, yeah, I'm gonna put up some real programs for people to actually ape them. I might get in real trouble for this, but I'll do that. I'll put up a healing program to help that way, one to aid with psychic issues. These are all going to have to be done differently. There's what I'm talking about doing is putting up some things that are very close to top secret training programs, as well as light brainwashing programs, for lack of a better term that people are going to understand, conditioning programs that will allow many of you to push into realms that most people would consider superhuman. Again, 5 of you are ever going to listen to these things, so that's okay. I want you to have the best chances that you can get, and yeah, no, I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna do that. If we could have done a little bit more for Myers, I think that he might be alive right now. Maybe not. God. There are just things, you know. It doesn't matter how tough you are, how well-armed you are, how intelligent you are, or even what you can see with everything. Sometimes things just happen. Sometimes they just, it doesn't, it's, maybe, I guess you could look at it as a matter of luck. Are you standing in the right point in the room? Are you ready to move if you have to when strange things happen? And, well, I don't know though. Sometimes it just doesn't matter. There are things that we're not ready to face that maybe none of us can face. Maybe no one can live through what's coming. Don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know if what I'm doing here is going to help at all. But I came in knowing that part. I came in knowing that we might not be able to help anyone at all. But I've got to get you a chance. I've got to work that out. 2 to 7 years. You probably have about a year to get ready, about a year to learn what you need to learn, come up with the skills, and I can't even tell you what you're going to need. But I can do some things that might help. We can do this. I hope. I need to do more myself anyway. This is becoming really clear. After a while, you kind of get a feeling that your skills are enough, that you have what you need, the way you live your life is good enough to get you through the worst of things. I mean, I've spent 30 years working in places, working on things that most people don't even know exist. And not just anomalous things. I've been in deep state politics. I've been in parts of the world that you won't go to, doing things that quite frankly probably made part of the current political situation worse, but that was the job at the time, and we got it done. I got it done. Now there's a tendency for me to think I know what to do. I know how to protect myself. I know how to use my mind and body. And the thing is that I kind of do. I kind of have that in there. But like everyone else, I don't really do it. I need to go back over some of these programs and some of the training and conditioning, and I need to make sure that I'm applying it constantly. Yeah, I'm gonna put some things together. I'll do them for myself, and then I'll also put them up for you and explain what's going on. I'll do reviews of information for you. And hey, you know, if you're not into that kind of stuff, listen to the CPC, yeah, SCP things. I will try and do a better job bringing those stories on. I really want you to live. I really want all of you to be able to make it. I don't know if I can, but I'm gonna give it a real shot. I'm gonna try and really do this. I'm gonna have to break some rules. There's just no way that we can get ready in time doing this. I've been trying to soft pedal things. I've been trying to keep the names quiet. I've been trying to hide things, and quite frankly, that's not gonna play for everything. At the same time, I need to survive this, so there are toes that I don't want to step on. There are things, you know, people in prison aren't gonna make it. They're not gonna be locked away safely while the rest of us are going down. Kind of like the elites trying to buy things up in New Zealand, hoping that it will be an isolated and safe but survivable situation for them. In theory, it might work. In theory, it could happen. But most of these hyper-elite are very weak people mentally. Yes, a good chunk of them are also psychopaths. About 30 or 40% of them are genetically psychopathic. That's not even an insult. It is just part of the breeding programs that they've had going on behind the scenes for a long time. Well, psychopaths don't deal with anomalous things all that well. They're not flexible and adaptable people in particular. They're people who ignore things going on, which makes them seem very strong under our current system. They're people who are willing to take particular types of violent action very often when the need arises, because they don't care about other people. But caring isn't a weakness. Caring can be strength. The power of humanity is that we've worked together, that we pull together when things get rough, not that we look out for ourselves all the time. So the elites out there looking out for themselves might just find that they don't have enough of a system around them to help out. Okay, I'm gonna end this now. I'm getting a little down, a little muddling. I've got to bounce back from this, and I've got some tricks for that. I've got some things that will help. I will be doing better by the next time we talk, which should be tomorrow. I'm gonna try and put some real things together. We'll keep up with the SCP things. Yeah, just get ready. Get ready, and guys, hey, tell your friends. Put this stuff out online. I don't know, rip it offline and play it as your own. Give it, change the name on it and put your name in. I don't care what you do as long as the information gets out. I'm not in this to make money. I'm not in this to do anything except for help as many people as possible make it. And we're gonna make it, and we're gonna work this out. Yeah, okay, so not everybody's going to do equally well. Even you listening to this are, right now, you've gotten a 10% leg up, just kind of having some basic tips on what's going on. The very next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try and lay some things out for you, and then we're gonna move into some real programs on things. I'm going to explain finally, I think, what I can without being killed. You probably won't believe it. I've tried a little bit. You've probably already forgotten or missed it. That's okay. We'll keep going over it until we all can do it. Okay, thanks everybody. Take care. I'm here for you.